Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping the news tonight, a strong call to step up border controls to curb the influx of illegal guns into the country. High-level talks convened in the U.S. last week between the National Security Minister, Dr. Bernard Nottage, and U.S. officials with the aim of lowering crime levels here in the Bahamas. Meantime, the Minister of Tourism is giving some recommendations of his own, largely centered around gun control. Here's Janaea Noel Ferguson.
What about the guns? We need to have in place a comprehensive program to stop gun trafficking in the Bahamas.
A call for action by Tourism Minister Obi Wilshcombe, who believes more must be done to stop the proliferation of guns in the country, as U.S. President Barack Obama hopes to counteract illegal gun activity in the United States. Wilshcombe says this is evidence that countries like the Bahamas are also reeling from the overwhelming scourge of gun violence. He feels the Bahamas must have better border patrols.
The truth is there's so many guns on the streets in the United States of America, we don't make guns. So where are they coming from? If he's talking about the proliferation of guns in America, people getting guns, selling guns, and getting in the hands of wrong people, then what is he saying? What he's saying, in my view, is that it can influence what's happening in countries that are close proximity, and the Bahamas is close proximity. So he's literally saying that there's a problem in the United States of America that's producing the guns. Well, we should understand that we're going to be influenced by that, which should tell us now we got to tighten our borders, which should tell us that we have to do more to ensure that whether it's port of entries or the marinas, wherever we are in the Bahamas, from Managua to Bimini, we have to ensure that we have tighter control. That's what we have to work on.
With 149 murders recorded last year and 3 this year, the majority committed with guns, Wilshcombe said much can be done to combat the crime situation. A major part of the problem is taking guns off of the street.
Of course, we have to face reality. Guns come from the United States of America and guns come from Venezuela. We know that. So we know that we should know that we've got to work closely with their authorities to help us in the management of our borders, because if we do not, then of course you'll see more on the streets. I think that's where we start. Get the guns off the streets. Let's get the guns off the street, because I'm still a firm believer that there's one thing about crime after the fact. I want to be able to arrest the mind before the crime. In other words, if I can get into the minds of the people, if I can cause people to understand we don't have to kill, I think we'll do much better. But going after the criminal after he's committed the act, the person's already dead. Let's stop the killing. And the way to stop the killing is to begin by getting the weapons that are being used, and the weapon being used in our country nowadays is guns.
Now, Tourism Minister Obi Wilshcombe says that meetings with U.S. and government officials continue in addressing the crime problem, but he says this is something the government cannot tackle alone. Janaea Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.